afternoon and welcome to our State of Nation program today. My name remains Israeli Beneme. With me in the studio I have on my left hand side Alhaji Mustafa Malik. And also to my
Sidi Ali Fatima Nabila.
Mrs. Filani Fatima Nabila. Today we'll be discussing more on the issues that bother us in nations. And do not forget that the State of the Nation is a platform on Aspheric where we discuss some national issues and what is trending, especially issues that concern you as a Nigerian and also those in diaspora. We also in the State of the Nation will give you an update, also in-depth insight of what it looks like and what government should also do in terms of reviving our economy. Today we'll be discussing an important, interesting topic. First, how to do with the academic student union, and also we're going to discuss more on also in Abuja Kaduna train attack. Then there are other issues that also topic that we're also going to deliberate within us here. I just from my left is Abdulmalik Mustafa. We start from the currently I had a breaking news now. Currently, the President Mohamed Buhari currently meeting with the representative of the Abuja train attack. What is your view or take about that? And what do you think that will be the outcome? Will there be a compensation? Because we also understand that most of these families were paid ransom before they were released.
Yeah. Well, it's we commend whoever contributed to the process that led to the release of the whole family. We wish the family of Mariam Bobo all the best in life. At least it's a terrible situation whereby the whole family have been taken by bandits. You understand? So, but at least for now, we commend them. Well, the aspect of payment of ransom, whether ransom was paid officially, the government has not stated that they paid pay any ransom. But within the family level, people are saying that 100 million is being paid for each 200 million was paid for the family. Understand? That is a whopping sum of money. So wherever they mop up that cash from, federal government should be able to at least to offset that for them, because it's not ideal to just leave them just like that. They have spent almost how many months in the captivity. So coming out, at least the president should be able to, at least being the head of the executive, he should be able to do something towards that. By and large, it's not a good thing for that Nigerians are being kidnapped, abducted from their houses on the train and on the road. People have been kidnapped here and there. We should just pray so that this thing will come to an end. But we should also remember that on our own part, as people, as masses, we will take to prayers as solace. But this is beyond prayer. What we need is action by the government. If there is any inaction by the government whereby it's contributing to this lingering insecurity problem, we call on them to say, okay, government, please wake up and do something. Wake up and do something. People are being killed. Even as we are talking now, just yesterday, recall that last week or 2 weeks ago, 7 persons were released, and part of the person that was released was a son of Ango Abdullahi, former VC of Abu Zaria. His son was released, and yesterday again we heard that part of his family again were abducted by another set of bandits in Kaduna again. So this thing is becoming too much. We should tell ourselves the truth that look, security of life and property is paramount to what the president signed, the oath that he signed, that look is going to protect the lives of citizens, including the residents, people, even foreigners living in Nigeria. We should tell ourselves that.
Let me talk to you, Fatima. If you are the president, what will you do?
That is a very tough question to answer, because I believe that there are so many branches to this particular issue. It's not a straight road. So I believe committees should be set up. People should be put in charge of various aspects of security, because the president cannot come down and say he's guarding the city gates. He's holding a gun to protect the entire nation. He's literally one man. He's not, that's why he's the commander-in-chief. He gives the orders and then it's executed. He can't do it all by himself. So I think it has to be a communal effort from the hands of the police, the military, and the citizens.
I don't understand my question. Now the president, some of these, the victims has been released.
Okay.
And the president is currently meeting with the representative of those families.
Okay.
Okay. And there was a ransom paid. But we don't know whether it was the family that paid the ransom, because I recall that there was a time they were protesting, they said that they paid ransom. So the question is, if you are the president, would that money be refunded to them from the government coffers, or the government was supposed to release them with their money? So just what is actually the decision that you think that needs to be happening, or what do you think the government to do, or what is your suggestion to the government at the time?
I think realistically, if someone has to take out 100 million naira from their pocket, some parts of the cost needs to be offset for them. Even if Nigeria can't say, okay, since the victims are too much, we can't waive it off. Like, we can't waive off the entire money for everybody, but I think some compensation should be given to these families. In my opinion, that is what I would do, because it must have been financially strenuous for these families to come up with these sums of money. So it's only fair that the Nigerian government says, hey, we know this is not too much, and we're not even trying to repay you, we're just trying to give you some leverage, somewhere to continue from, or to start from. So in my opinion, I would give compensation to those families.
Do you agree with that?
Well, there's no two ways about it, because first of all, they are citizens of Nigeria, and it's the government's responsibility to take care of their security. And if government now derail or found wanting, and we have a group of bandits or group of rogues taking advantage of whatever loopholes, and people are being carted away from train, don't forget that in the first place, that train, we don't know whether the train was insured. If it's insured and anything happened, this nature happened, it means the government ought to pay the whatever damages that they incurred. But in this case now, we don't know anything regarding that. Now, they have paid ransom. Unofficially, they have paid ransom. I don't know. We don't have the details of what they are going to discuss with Mr. President. If they are going to tell Mr. President that, look, we paid ransom, it would be ideal on the federal government to say that, okay, they will repay, not even repay, like Fatima is saying that part of the money. Me, I will say, whatever thing they spend, if they spend 100 million on each person, if they spend 200 million to secure that family out, they should pay, reimburse back their money back, that 200 million, they should give them back. We're not talking about, say, the government should pay them compensation for their being incarceration for this length. Government should give them whatever thing they spend back, they should give them.
That's for the president, that's for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So actually, that is a suggestion. Let's talk about the Paris Club fund. This issue of Paris Fund, this money has been, they've been recovering this money from time to time. And Attorney General Federation actually is the one who spearheaded about the money. And now the governors are insisting that, look, there must be...
you see, you understand? Dr. Israel, we should tell ourselves the truth that, look, our country, I'm sorry to use this language, we're on the national TV, we're on the live TV, so we're not supposed to say, there are certain things that we're not supposed to say, but I will say it categorically that, look, Nigeria is in trouble. It's in trouble in the sense that these are chief executive officers of their state. When they were collecting this money, I think it was in 2015 when they started collecting this Paris refund, when President Muhammadu Buhari, due to about, the report then was that 27 states are insolvent. That it means they could not meet up their obligation.
Yes.
So as they could not meet up their obligation to pay salaries, President Muhammadu Buhari, the new government, decided to release that. So, and when they were collecting this money, it's like they forgot to understand that it was a bailout. It was like a loan that you must pay back. So now the deduction now is becoming a problem. And apart from that again, they are the people that suggested that a consultant, part of the money that they're supposed to pay to the consultant, and they renege. You understand? You see, a lot of problems that we are facing are being caused by these governors, you understand? But it's sad that people now tend to look at the federal government alone. But the governors are really the problem. Understand what is happening here. They nominated the consultant, of which certain amount of money from that money is supposed to be paid to the consultant, and they reneged. And the consultant now went to the court. So they now reached a kind of a gentleman agreement to say, look, out of the court settlement. So what President Muhammadu Buhari decided to order the Attorney General of the Federation to do now is to deduct their money as they are deducting the allocation to the state, they should deduct and give to the consultant, and that is where they are having challenges now. So it's like the governors, they are being too greedy. Let me use that language. They are being too greedy. They just want to eat their cake and still have it, and it's not done that way. You understand? This bailout, they are refusing to pay. Now the federal government that is deducting, they are angry about that. The little that is coming to them, they don't want to even pay the consultant, and that is where the problem is coming now.
What have you said about that?
For me,
Federal government funded state.
I will say pay what you owe the nation. You were bailed out. It's time to face the music. Why is the tune changing? You knew it was an agreement. You knew we would get here. So why are we almost here?
I believe that is our money. It's government money.
It's government money, but it is federal government money that needs to be.
That they also say that
it needs to be put. It needs to put into other things that need to grow the nation.
The time of having lazy governors has passed. It's just that our politics is not tied. You see, otherwise, you understand, when we are taking this money, the money that is coming from the federation account, we are not even looking at what is going to the other tier of the government. We are not looking at the third tier of the government, which is the local government. Have you forgotten that the governors, they take what belongs to the local government? Virtually all the state governors, that is what they are doing, apart from, I think, Kaduna State that decided to have their own separate. Apart from that, they take what belongs to the local government and keep it to themselves. That is what is happening here. They took bailout, when they are getting this Paris refund bailout given to them, nobody asked them how they spend it. Recall that they collected this money in the name of paying, meeting up with the obligation of salaries to their workers. But I think some of them did not even pay, and some of them no. Only recently, I think Borno State civil servant that are paying as little as 6,000 naira, and the governor was shouting that look, he was not aware that minimum wage was not implemented in certain categories of workers. You understand? This is, in fact, I don't know. At times, when you look at Nigeria very well, you feel like crying.
How do you say you are not aware?
You understand? So
how do you say you are not aware?
That said, I have not still implement the
minimum wage. And we are talking about something about 4 or 5 good years now. It means people are being shortchanged. In some state, if you go to a state like my own state, you discover that workers are being paid, but what they are, the particular amount they have been paid for, you don't know.
It has exceeded. You hear people tell you I've not been paid for 10 months, and then they say, well, they finally paid. What are you paying me for? What are you exactly?
Apart from that, again, you have some of them are owing retirees. You understand? Well, I think only recently also thereabout I saw protests in Rivers that retirees that have not been paid their pension for a very long time, and the situation is almost the same in almost all the states. When they don't take care of the people that are still working active service, what about the old people, retirees? So you understand, these governors, a lot of problems are being caused today by the governor. It's just unfortunate that the constitution now made it in such a way that the federal government take 56% of what is called from the federation account, and the state takes about 20-something%, then the remaining one to the local government. So, but you discover that emphasis is placed on the federal government because of that 56%, whereas the governors, what they do with their money, nobody knows. Some of them at the end of the day, they will not cut away some certain amount of money, or they will not stash away and await the legal battle with the EFCC. At the end of the day, the cases will drag for 15 years, 10 years, and nothing will happen.
That's a lot to take in.
So let's discuss the issues that body the nation. The Nigerian Railway Corporation, which is NRC, reduced the Lagos-Ibadan train trip over diesel costs.
Yeah. It's really sad. You understand? Only days ago, former President Obasanjo cried out that he's almost becoming bankrupt
because of diesel.
But he's going about 800 naira now per liter for diesel. You understand? And
but if someone like President Obasanjo will say that he's going back,
what happens to the masses?
He's working the government.
No, it's not marketing. You know, he has investment. You know, virtually his farm, Obasanjo farm, they run on diesel to generate their energy. You understand? So you now see a railway now, instead of 6, they are now reduced it to now 2 trips. So, and you can imagine now,
That's appalling.
see, you understand? So people have come to enjoy this comfort of traveling from Ibadan down to Lagos. Some of them work they live in Ibadan and they are working in Lagos. So they must close. So it means people will suffer. You understand? People will suffer definitely.
And when people are suffering, the economy won't grow.
Won't grow. And you see, you keep on hearing these people wailing every day here and there. So complain here and there. So government should be able to do something.
And aren't we scared that these steps that we are taking will lead us to a revolt? Do you people think that the masses will forever just complain?
Will you if there's any protest, will you come out to join?
I personally wouldn't have a problem protesting as long as it's for the right cause.
See, the fact is that the protest, just like Dr. Israel mentioned this morning, he now decided to remind us that, look, protest in Nigeria doesn't end well. So
exactly.
Our protest, you should look at the other side.
I'm not saying a protest, Mr. Husi. Let me repeat my question. Yes, I said the path that the government is leading us. Don't you think it's going to bring about a revolt? Because I personally, from where I'm standing and my little knowledge, I will tell you that people are complaining every day. People are tired. People are suffering. People are hungry. People are desperate. There's so many reasons for people to revolt. Do you think that it's just going to end in verbal complaints in the long run?
I don't see that revolting coming from anywhere, because we are approaching an election year and people are now believing. If you understand very well, now people now suffer alone and just keep quiet. You go to the market, whatever thing you have. People don't write list again when they are going to the market. Whatever thing their money can afford, they will just buy and go back home. Because of what? We are approaching an election year whereby there will be alternative, there will be option. If you don't like the current administration, the current system, an alternative is there for you to say, to make your choice from. And that is what Nigerians, if you observe very well, people complain to themselves. People sit and complain, but nobody is like, apart from the ASU that is protesting, protesting through their industry.
So you think a revolution or revolt won't happen?
I don't see
it's
that.
It's not likely to happen.
Complex for that. Recall that only 2 years ago we had NSAS, and we all know, and even the NSAS itself, you discover that it succeeded in some part, and in some part it doesn't succeed. Nigeria is just due to our diversity. Our diversity, government is like taking advantage of our diversity. When a situation, okay, take for instance now, like we have 2023, you understand, and we have 3 frontline contestants. Whether we like it or not, 3, we'll just narrow it down to 3. Out of these 3 now, let's assume that by the time Peter Obi become the winner and become the president, and you said you want to protest, you should be able to predict the outcome of that protest. You said, okay, you want to protest. People will not tell you, some Nigerians would come out to tell you that, look, this problem was caused by the previous administration, and this man only inherited it, and now you want to protest. We protest over what? During the NSAS succeeded in Lagos and in some part, even in Abuja, whereby you see the protesters came out. You see how they were being attacked. You understand? So, Nigeria is not like.
But when I say a revolt, I mean in the sense that when I say a revolt, I don't mean a rogue revolt. When I say a revolt, it starts from little things like even the ASU strike. Workers are refusing to work because they're not getting paid, or whatever is due to them has not been paid to them. That's one. 2, when I say a revolt, don't you think that these civil servants that push hard, push through, and still try to make it to work, so that the economy works? If they can't afford to go to work, then how does the economy move?
You should ask yourself, when you are talking about the core civil servant, are we talking about civil servants that, if they stop going to work, government will bother? Let me take you back to the military era. Nupeng. Go back to the history you read. What Nupeng was. Nupeng was more or less like a force, a government on a thorn in the flesh of the military administration. Because of what? They are the people in charge of the distribution of fuel across Nigeria. If the tankers drivers refuse to hit the road with their trucks, it means the economy will be completely grounded. You understand? If such people decide to say, okay, we are embarking on strike, whereby we will not drive truck from point A to point B again, it means the economy will shut down. So, but when you are talking about normal civil servant, government will just look at it, will make one pronouncement and say, look, no work, no pay. You understand? And the typical civil servant here, without salary, some of them will go into extinction. So, I see they only revolt me that government would change the heart of Nigerian politicians and the government is the revolt that people will now decide to take laws into their hand and go to the street and hit the street. That is the only thing they fear. Just like what is currently happening in Sierra Leone or what happened in Sri Lanka, whereby government decided to they came from nowhere, took over Aso Rock, and they chased away the prime minister and the president, and everything just ended like that. So, but even with that, you discover that in Sri Lanka experience now, with the new government, the problems still continue. You understand? That is the only sad story.
The problem. This problem is sometimes not just in Nigeria, it's globally.
No, the current.
I told you this morning that on CNN, they're announcing that including the beverage, the protein, bringing everything up top to 19%.
Yeah.
Then some organizations increase their fare. Do you understand? So there's before the end of this year, there has been change, because maybe I'm saying it from because we have COVID-19 during the COVID-19 period. Most people were not functioning. Everything was totally shut down.
Yeah, everything was totally shut down.
There's no way it will be free.
Dr. Israel.
Do you understand? So there's need.
Please.
It's not in Nigeria. The problem is only in Nigeria.
Please. Don't go to the market and start telling people that look that this problem we are facing is not only Nigeria. Don't. It's like you are provoking people's anger.
Exactly.
You understand? See,
talk to people about their situation. I don't really think people care about what's going on in other parts. Exactly.
It is that the current administration doesn't have economic team. If they have economic team, the economic team underperformed and put us into this mess.
What will you have to say about those cases, the opportunity that was given to Nigerians? Things like Empower project, Solar Money project, and many others that was given, that COVID-19 palliative loan. You got one, right?
No, I wasn't.
The fact is that this current administration, they try in terms of social intervention. They call it social intervention program. So they did a lot. Empower, direct money transfer, and so many other things. You understand? See, there are a lot of corruption has done a lot of problems to Nigeria. Take for instance like Anchor Borrowers, which is an initiative through the CBN to at least support farmers to grow and contribute to our food production. You discover that CBN now are saying that look, so many people that took this grant, took this loan, soft loan, they are begging them to come back and repay back. It's supposed to be like a revolving fund scheme.
Some say it's the Nigerian money.
So some people say Nigerian money. It's our mentality. People collect money and they refuse to pay.
Yeah, because if the government is not doing what they have to do, everybody feels the need to cut from the national cake.
Investing in the money.
And so let's
let me just say something. Because every year there must be training from one government organization to another, especially those that must be training. They also will have some government organization that they specialize on training people, especially outside the country, on different skills. There's so much training going on. Why are we not making use of these trainings opportunities in Nigeria? Why are we always, after the training, we will return back home? And
I think
let me just explain. Why did I say this? Is because there is training that I attended with some group of people, and this lot of items was given out, including money. I won't mention the amount, but which are some of money can use to start a business. Were given out. Then I did a documentary for them at that point. And after the programs, when I asked some of them, what will you do with the money? They say, I want your permanent. I'll go buy bed. I'll go buy chair. I'll go buy this. This is someone that is just you are still in the training ground, though. What will you do with their money? Do you understand? So the man will just finish. You start from beginning.
Permit me to say, yes, sadly, but permit me to say, in the layman's term, I never chop. I want to use money to do business. That's every typical Nigerian's thinking. because they're already thinking they have bills to pay, they have things to settle, like people need to eat, that's Nigerians just focus on the today. Okay, how will it look today? If today should pass, tomorrow will think about itself. I think that's another mentality that is eating us up slowly. Because how are you empowered and then the next thing you're thinking of is how to spend that money? That should say a lot about us as a people, one. Second, our economy. And third, our government.
I think in addition to that, I believe that Nigeria will have a problem of orientation, the kind of orientation that we have. Now, most Nigerians, especially people within the other class of the society that are struggling to survive, to live, they just believe that, look, anything that comes their way is like a free. You understand? Before, our kind of orientation that we had is a kind of a waste orientation, materialistic orientation, whereby you are empowering somebody to say, okay, 100,000 can make a change when that money is invested right. You understand? But you discover that by the time that young man or young woman get that 100,000, he's going to spend it probably on buying a phone, whereby it will not add any value than to make call and flash around. That is the same mentality that will not take to some of these the beneficiaries of some of this scheme by the government. Someone is 1 year or 2 years and this Empower scheme, he's been paid some stipend to say, okay, an allowance to take care of him throughout the duration of this. But instead of him to utilize that to do something meaningful, instead, some of them, they just lavish that money just like that. And then you have some other agri scheme and even vocational scheme. At the end of the day, they were being trained and so a certain amount of money was given to them. Instead of them to utilize it well or go back, they sold whatever thing they gave to them. You now discover that government is saying, no, look, we're not giving you people cash again. Instead of that cash, they buy whatever thing you said, okay, this is the equipment that you need. They'll buy and give them. Yet, some of them, they still sold them out. I believe, Dr. Israel, I believe that it has to do with the system. The system, that materialistic system that people now believe that, look, somebody become a councillor, all of a sudden, is everything about his status, his economy, he change. You understand? I believe that this have a kind of negative effect on how Nigerians reason or think or do their things. Everybody want to make money. Everybody want to become rich. Some young men, they are in the university, instead of them to sit in the class, they are not more in the class again. They turn to Yahoo, this thing. You now discover that the lecturers now even respect them because they ride exotic cars around the campus, speak this is a problem that is affecting our value system right now. And I believe that both religious bodies, the families, they have a lot to do. And we have a government agency, which is a National Orientation Agency, but to me, they are not even doing anything towards that direction. Then again, pressmen like you, Dr. Israel, I don't know whether you should be able to hold a talk shop whereby people will be sensitized, a kind of campaign. It's everybody, because when it affects the society, it affects everybody.
Everybody, we need all hands on deck.
All right, thank you. Let me just pick up from here from academics. You have a breaking news. College of Education Academic Staff Union of Nigeria have just called off their 2-month strike. Will I say glory be to God? Will I say good news? Will I say it's a special news? But before we go back to that discussion, one of our correspondents in CB have already gone out to get response from Nigerians, how they feel about the ABSO strike. But let's watch that video. After the video, just stay tuned. We'll come back to us.
The truth of the matter is Nigerian students are tired. And what we're looking for is not a suspension of the strike. We're looking for a sustainable and permanent solution. We don't want ASU strike again. Not at all. At all. Not that they will suspend it and resume later. No. What we need is a permanent solution. And I can assure the world that Nigerian students are going to continue to agitate. This is just the beginning. We are going to come out every day like this. If it means shutting this country down, if they don't open our schools, we'll close their offices. Honestly, we are tired of the back and forth they've been doing, because we believe that at the end of the day, we are the ones that are the victims. What do they have to lose? Whether they go on strike, they come to an understanding that they are still being paid. They're still being paid, but we are the ones. Our house rent is counting. Our life keeps going because our age is not reversible. We have plans for our lives, and you keep calling on strike for reasons which we don't understand. There's nothing that cannot be resolved at the negotiation table. I believe it's because their children are not being affected by this directly. That's why many of them are handling this issue lackadaisically. Honestly, we are very, very grieved, and we are not ready to listen to any excuses. What we want is for our schools to be open. We want to go back to school. We want to learn. The government should prioritize education. I don't know what is going on between them and ASU, but we are not at that negotiation table, so we don't really care. All we want is call off ASU strike permanently. We don't want a suspension. We want the strike to be called off. If not, we'll disturb the peace. Honestly. No peace for them. If you want us to stay at home, we'll come out in the streets. The only option is for us to go back to school. That's the only thing that's going to keep Nigerian students off the streets. If not, we do the streets. We do outside.
They are selfish. And that's
our right.
To be honest with you, ASU is a body on its own that cannot be scrapped, in the sense that they are a group of lecturers who are fighting and protecting their own interests. What I mean by their own interests is whatever you are fighting for, something we believe it's for a good cause, not another way around. So we believe, what is their demand? Let them come up with the demand. Let the federal government see this demand that they are bringing up. Is it something that will impact the Nigerian educational system? If it is yes, so then let the needful be done.
Thank you and welcome back. I hope you have watched the video, and if you listen to the young man carefully, he said that these lecturers have benefiting more from the government. That my house rent is still my rent is still reading every day, and my number of years in the school will see it increasing. But these lecturers, whether they are in the school, they're not in school, the months they have stayed out of school must be paid. What is your stake? Let me start from you, Fatima. What is your stake about that?
I think that statement is very clear enough and direct enough for the Nigerian government and the ASU body to sit down and talk about it, because from this clip we've watched, I'm sorry to say that all I took out of that little cut was anger. People are trying to express themselves, but because of the level of anger, built up anger, their message is not even passed across clearly. So I think it's enough for the government to say, hey, ASU to say, hey, okay, let's meet in the middle. Let's talk one last time. Let's come to a resolve, because the lives of thousands, if not even running into millions of students, is at stake. So I think it's enough to sit down and have a rethink and have a conversation. Because if a young person is already thinking in this light, they might wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, this education is not even worth it in the end. Before you know it, society is filled with dubious people, and different menaces will just keep occurring.
What do you have to say about ASU strike?
Well, the current one that called off the strike are the lecturers of the College of Education that called off the strike. I think they are their own part of this. the disparity in terms of their salaries, what they take, you discover that a lecturer, a graduate assistant that is in the university is any higher than a lecturer of the same qualification in the polytechnic, and they're asking for similar payment. That is what they're asking for, and some other of their conditions. The strike is too many in education. Too many of the strike. We must bring it to an end. Let's go to the aspect of ASU strike that we are seeing in the video here. Well, just like Fatima said, it's about anger. You understand? The anger from the home, the anger about school, the anger from the society, and the anger everywhere. You understand? These they are not growing younger. You understand? When you are 22, at the final year in the university, it means by the time you have to call up their strike, which is almost about 6 months now, you discover that they have lost one session completely.
They need to open us. We want
to pay house rent. That is exactly what the young man is saying. Those ones that are living off campus that paid house rent, it means they will still renew their accommodation again. Who is going to do the renewal for them? It's the parent. Some of them go to the extreme end to hustle their way to source for the money. What about feeding? They will still go, and it means extra spending, extra year, extra spending. And he said, look, ASU, by the time they call off their strike and they come back to the class, the backlog of arrears, they will still be paid off. So that is what they are saying. Well, whether we like it or not, I don't think that the lecturer decided to go on the strike because they like going on strike. And let's not forget it, that since they embark on this strike, that government policy of no work, no pay has started. It has been activated from that moment that they embark on this strike. And it's one of those things that it's causing the problem to linger up to this moment. So, well, it's unfortunate that up till now, we're in the 6th month, and government has not really done anything to make sure that these people go back to the class, and the students to go back to this class, and the students to go back to the class. It's really unfortunate.
Let me borrow from you. Ebonyi governor said that the government cannot borrow 1.1 trillion.
You see,
to solve that problem because the demand is too high.
He's a politician, so you don't expect him to talk less than that. Even Festus Kayamo, the Minister of Labour, he said something like that. There are some other aspects of their negotiation whereby they are not talking about that one. They keep on talking about money, so that what they are doing is that they are like inciting Nigerians against the lecturers. They go to the aspect of the 1 trillion as if that is the main thing.
There are other things surrounding.
What they are talking about is the IPPIS payment scheme. They said they don't want to be there, whereby that if Nigerian Army and some other agencies are not there, why then? So, but the federal government is now saying that, look, you must be there because we pay your money. So if you can't detect to us, and that is the one gray area, one major gray area that they as themselves, they said that, look, once that government effect that, they came up with their own payment system. Now once government effect that, they are ready to go back to the class. You understand? So when the government is now talking, or government agents are talking about 1 trillion, that 1 trillion, when you hear about it, it's not like a down payment now before they will go to the class, but a kind of an arrangement whereby you said, okay, they can release it for like 4 trenches, like that can drag for the next 5 years. But we want everything to be ironed out now, so that the strike should.
There should be a plan so that the strike doesn't prolong.
And doesn't occur again, because it's like every time and every now and then strike, every now and then strike.
So, Fatih, let me ask you, what do you think that Nigeria should do different to solve this problem once and for all?
That is a lot to answer, but I think every Nigerian at this point from here on should turn a new leaf. I believe I say these things all the time when people try to accuse the president of not doing his job, in quotes, because as simple as telling Nigerians to queue up or line up for something that even benefits them is a struggle. So it really is from the littlest of things. So if you and I can play our parts, play our role, since we all belong to different communities and societies, if everybody comes together, does what they have to do, then I think it's the right start in the right direction.
Thank you so much. Next, we have a breaking news. One Mr. Emmanuel and Sunday Olutu has been missing since yesterday in Abuja FCT. We are told that two of them went out of the house at Lube, Abuja, and never returned since yesterday. Kindly, in case you find information, we are using this platform to call every meaning Nigerians. In case there's information regarding these two kids, please call the following numbers: 08030506397, and I repeat, 08030506397. Let me just ask you, what is really going on? Because in the news today, I saw, apart from this kidnapping of this children, I also saw another sad story from in Delta State. I also saw another sad story from Anambra State, where a young lady at about 15 or 16 had to behead. I think it was organized. They beheaded someone. I also saw a boy of 8 years that almost kidnapped one. You saw the video, right? What up to going on now? What exactly is going on?
Well, the
insecurity over.
Yeah, the insecurity I've seen. It's every time we just like Fatih said, we blame government, we blame this, blame that. Well, the fact is that when you have a system that is failing, the system is failing because there is no punitive measure whereby the enforcement aspect of it's not about our law. The enforcement aspect of the law is weak, and that is why you decide to see people taking law into their hands. Unless you have that stringent application of the enforcement, definitely we are going to be seeing a lot of these vices here.
Like I said earlier, people are angry. People are frustrated. People are hungry. And I'm not leveraging it as a cause. I'm not saying.
Would the hunger lead you to kidnapping?
Okay. Let's put it this way. If you're hungry and you don't have a means to feed or to survive,
how will you do then? Kidnap?
And then you are not ready to work. You go into different devious acts. It doesn't even only have to be kidnapping, because people are out there stealing. People are doing different things. But it's just so sad that, like Mr. Mustafa said, implementing the law is not strict, because I don't think anyone is scared to say, oh, I've seen this person being made a scapegoat, I will change, I will do better, I will fix my ways.
See, the fact is that we are going back to that state of nature whereby what scientists mean by state of nature is a situation whereby you are a law to yourself, you are a law to Fatih, you are a law to me too, and I will be law to another person. If I like any woman, I will just grab her, and that is where we are heading to right now. People will just get up, you said, okay, because you are suffering, you are doing that, somebody's child, even if it is your own child, you take the life of your own child, government will hold you. That is what holds our society together. When we have law, when we have a law, when we have a system and we fear that system, that is only it is the only way that the society will function properly. But as you are looking at it now, you are walking along the road, you are afraid of being kidnapped. You are inside the taxi, they call those ones one chance. You want to fly from between Abuja here to Kaduna now, you are afraid of your life. What is happening?
But would that lead you to kidnap a child at this age?
A lot of problems. So, and again,
because I listened to the young man from Anambra State. I think that guy should be between 7 and 8 years. He kidnapped a baby of within 3 years or 4 years.
I believe that kid is an instrument.
So when did I ask him who sent you? He mentioned the name of the person that asked him to bring that child.
Yes, he's an instrument.
And I asked him, was it your first time? He said no. How many times? This is my second time.
I even saw a similar video somewhere in Lagos that the young man said that 5,000 was given to him to kidnap. You understand? See, it's still what we are talking about. Is it moral decay? You must discover that at times, just like Fatih said, poverty now see that father is outside, mother is outside, they will not come home until 10 p.m. at night. What their children do, they don't know. You understand? So these are part of it too. That family value, you understand? Okay, let me take you back to the memory lane, Dr. Israel. When we were children growing up, when we attended public schools, when you come back home and you're in your house, your parents give you food and you refuse to eat, do you know that they will beat you?
Yes.
Because this is their food and you refuse to eat that food. Because they did not assume as if you have eaten from outside. Who give you food? But now you discover that parents now their children will return back from school. If the daughter or the boy distributes to even eat food, they are good. You understand? Last time I saw it on Facebook, a parent was complaining that the bread they bought for 700 naira, before you know the children finish it. You understand that they eat too much. A lot of problem is going on here, and oftentimes people now push it to say government. It's beyond government. You have children now going into ritual killing. You understand? Young men. The other time it was in Abeokuta that teenagers of 17 years they go and one of them their girlfriend like that. They now you understand all sorts of manner of bad things happening. You understand? We just have to remind families that look, families, if we are expecting that the church, the mosque to do their own work,
or the schools,
it starts from the family level. You understand? If you as a father, you are a disciplined man, if your mother is a disciplined man, and I can tell you this, that look, your son who is going out to become your ambassador outside is not going to act differently from how the father and the mother act. You understand? So a lot is expected from the family level. Then from the family level, before you talk about your teachers in the school, before you talk about your imam, your pastors in the church, you understand? A lot of things, we just need to tell ourselves the truth that a lot is wrong. If we are blaming the government, we should also blame ourselves too. We have our own role to play.
Takes two to tango.
That we have a perfect society, a good society, an ideal society.
All right, thank you so much. We join the Abuja Twitter community to call on the following our fellow Nigerians, especially those of you who live in Abuja, to help us look out or search for Emmanuel and Sunday Oluta, which has been missing since yesterday. They went out of their house at Lube area, residential Abuja, and never returned. Please, if you're able to find a way or identify them or see them either in a car or in a house on a completed bidding or on your way, please kindly call the following number 08030506397, and I repeat 08030506397. We joined Aspect TV joined Abuja Twitter community to call on all the relevant authority to help us search for these young men, Emmanuel and Sunday Oluta, which have been missing CSC through along Lube area axis. Please, thank you. This is our end on today's State of the Nation. I want to especially thank both of you for joining me on State of the Nation today and analyzing the topic that are trending, also affecting our nation. Thank you, and stay tuned as you meet us again.